Yeah, we back with another one, man. Now, listen, man. I got some interesting news, man. As it stands right now, it seems that the West has lost. In the short term, as it stands right now, it seems that the military government in Niger has won. As it stands right now. Let's get into it. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see, the military government in Niger today, a few hours ago, has announced a 3-year transition after a delegation from ECOWAS visited the country this morning. They had a negotiation with ECOWAS this morning. They spoke with ECOWAS for the first time. And tonight they announced that they're going to be in power for 3 years. The military government is staying in power. Mohamed Bazoum, he's not coming back to power. It's over for Mohamed Bazoum. The administration of Mohamed Bazoum, it's done. It's over. It's over for him. It's done. It's done. It's done. But this video is not a celebratory video. It's not that. Like I told you, you have to watch how these things play out 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 24 months from now. Because like I showed you in previous videos, the Western powers are not going to sit back and let you take food off their plate like that, bro. We've seen the multiple assassination attempts against the military leader in Mali, right? Where some random dude walked up on him at church and tried to stab him. With some random military officers under the guidance of a Western state. They tried to overthrow the government and they got caught. So just because they announced that they're going to stay in power doesn't mean that there's not going to be attempts of sabotage that come in the future. So I'm not telling you to start celebrating just yet. I'm just telling you what has happened. And just like I said in previous videos, it's one thing to establish power, but now you have to defend the power for the next 3 years. You have to defend the power. Because I remember a couple years back actually, the military leaders in Mali, they also announced a transition period of about 3 years or 5 years or something like that. And like I told you, there was multiple assassination attempts and overthrow attempts, which I'm sure were backed by the Western powers. So you got to keep a watchful eye on these things, man. You got to keep a watchful eye. A lot of people jump out the window making predictions. You know me, I didn't make any predictions. Like I told you, I sit back and I observe the landscape. I'm not giving anybody the stamp of approval. I'm not giving anybody the stamp of condemnation. It's too early for that, bro. It's too early. They've only been in power for 3 weeks. How can you condemn a government or approve a government that hasn't even been in power for a month? That's what I don't really understand why people do that. You know what I mean? I don't understand why people do that. Because in politics, you cannot examine something for a couple weeks, a month. No, politics, you have to make plans for the next 50 years. The Chinese, they plan for the next 100 years. So you cannot make any examination or any judgment on a government that's only been in power for 3 weeks. But I'll say this, bro. This announcement is a massive defeat for the Western powers, man. This is a massive blow for the Western powers, man. Massive, man. Massive. You already know Emmanuel Macron, he up in the presidential palace crying right now, bro. Talking to his old ass wife. His wife like 100 years old. He probably crying in her lap right now, bro. Crying, bro. The French Empire crumbling, bro. I'm telling you, France has not been in this position since they lost Saint-Domingue back in 1803, bro. This is like losing Saint-Domingue all over again. You lost Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger in the span of a couple years. Man, the French colonial establishment once again coming to a collapse. And I'm so happy, man. It's so beautiful to see, man. It's so beautiful to see, man. Wow, bro. Wow. One step closer to France becoming a third world country. I can't wait. Now, let's jump into the articles. Now, take a look up on the screen. Niger's coup leader has proposed a 3-year transition to civilian rule after meeting a delegation of West African leaders and warned that any attack on the country would not be a walk in the park for those involved. Hey, man, listen. General Chiani, he said, listen, bro, listen, we got them shooters, man. We got them shooters. All right. We got them shooters from Niger to Burkina Faso to Mali to Moscow, bro. We got them shooters on the roof, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Invade at your own risk. Step in at your own risk. All right. Listen, let's continue. General Chiani, speaking on state TV on Saturday, gave no details of the planned transition of power, saying only that the principles for the move would be decided within 30 days at a dialogue to be hosted by the ruling military council. Now, take a look up on the screen. This is actually a quote from the general himself. He said this: "Neither the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, that's the military government, nor the people of Niger want war, and we remain open to dialogue. But let us be clear, if an attack were to be undertaken against us, it will not be the walk in the park that some people think it is." Chiani talking like a boss, man. Chiani talking like, listen, we got that firepower. Chiani talking like he got that firepower. Let's continue. In his 12-minute speech, Chiani claimed ECOWAS was getting ready to attack Niger by setting up an occupying army in collaboration with a foreign army, and denounced what he called illegal and inhumane sanctions imposed by the regional bloc. And this is another quote by the general. He said this: "I reaffirm that our ambition is not to confiscate power. I also reaffirm our readiness to engage in any dialogue, as long as it takes into account the orientations desired by the proud and resilient people of Niger." I hear you, boss. I hear you. Let's continue. Now, to be honest, it seems that the military government is gonna remain in power, man. It seems that the military overthrow has been successful. The president has been kicked out, and he ain't coming back, regardless of the threats of violence and bloodshed and warfare, the threats from the United States, the threats from France, ECOWAS, Tinubu, everybody in between. It seems that without a single shot being fired, the military government is going to stay in power for the foreseeable future. Like I told you, the Western powers are not going to take it lying down. They're not going to take it lying down. They're going to fight back. They're going to try to sabotage the government. They're going to try to destabilize the region. They're going to try to destroy Niger. Physically, politically, diplomatically. Like I told you, it's one thing to establish power, but now you have to defend the power from external and internal forces. That's the nature of politics. But this is crazy for so many reasons, man. Do you know that France has lost Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger without a single shot being fired, without a single battle being fought? That's crazy, bro. Do you know how much blood was spilled during the Haitian Revolution, man? These dudes have kicked the French out without a single shot being fired, man. Wow, let me clap it up for my brothers, man. Love y'all boys, man. Love y'all boys. Love y'all, man. Love my brothers worldwide. You know I'm riding for y'all, bro. You know Neferkari Dessalines, I'm riding for y'all, man. And to solidify this, I talked about this in my video earlier. The United States has appointed a new ambassador to the military government in Niger, which means that the United States has acknowledged the military government in Niger as the new legitimate government. So France can't do shit about that, man. France can't do shit, man. I think that the Western powers have kind of weighed up the options, and to be honest, going into Niger guns blazing, it's too many moving parts, man. It's gonna be a disaster, and they know it. They know it. And they know that Niger is not standing alone. It's one thing if Niger was standing alone, right? But Niger not standing alone, man. Niger got the backing of her neighbors, and she got the backing of, you know, them boys back in Moscow. So, and you know, them boys back in Moscow, they got, you know, missiles and nuclear weapons and all that shit. You know, them boys back in Moscow, they got all type of crazy firepower. So they don't want that smoke, man. They don't want none of that smoke. You better stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane and stay there. Now, I just want to highlight something that I seen earlier today. Take a look up on the screen. In front of the French military base in the capital, hundreds of women protested and demanded the departure of the French occupying army from Niger. Man, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing when a black woman is standing beside the black man, man. I'm telling you, it ain't nothing more beautiful than that, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Like, that shit just warms my heart, man. That shit just warms my heart, bro. Look at our women, bro. Look at them, bro. Look at them. Shit crazy, man. Shit beautiful, bro. But yeah, man, do not start celebrating yet. I'm telling you, don't start celebrating yet, because the Western powers are not going to take this lying down. They're not going to take this lying down. Like I told you, they tried to assassinate the military leader in Mali multiple times. Multiple times, bro. Multiple times. And it was only due to the effectiveness and the efficiency of his security and defense forces that they were able to stamp it out before it was successful. So we have to watch how it plays out. We have to watch how it plays out, man. We cannot give the stamp of approval just yet, and we cannot give the stamp of condemnation just yet. It's too early to make any predictions. It's too early to make any predictions, man. A true political analyst does not make any predictions this early. You got to come back in 6 months and then come back with a report card in another 6 months, etc., etc. You got to let them do the work and see how it plays out, man. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. But this is off topic. But brothers, can you believe that while Africans on the continent is doing economic, political, and diplomatic battle against the most powerful nations in the world, do you know that the Tariq Nasheed crowd is on Twitter right now arguing about Burna Boy wearing Timberland boots? I'm going to do a video on that. I might do a video on that sometime tomorrow. The Tariq Nasheed crowd is on Twitter right now arguing about Timberland boots and all type of bullshit right now. Meanwhile, Africans on the continent is waging diplomatic and political warfare against the most powerful nation in the world. Wow. It is what it is, man. Pan-Africanism is always going to win, bro. Pan-Africanism is supreme, it's superior, and everything else is going to die out. Everything else don't mean shit. It's Pan-Africanism or perish. If you're not a Pan-Africanist, I don't know what the fuck you are. You're just a waste of space. You're a waste of space. The Pan-Africanists are putting numbers on the board. The Pan-Africanists got the whole Western world shook. The Pan-Africanists got the French president and the American president shaking in their goddamn boots in the presidential palace. Everybody else, you ain't doing shit. The Pan-Africanists are overthrowing Western-backed governments and forming military and economic alliances to strengthen each other. And everybody else, you on Twitter arguing about Timberland boots and hip hop. The Tariq Nasheed crowd arguing about Timberland boots and hip hop, and Africans on the continent is out here putting up numbers on the board, politically and diplomatically. Now, I'm not going to make this a long video. I just had to come with the announcement. The military government in Niger, they had a meeting with ECOWAS this morning, and tonight they announced that they're going to be in power for the next 3 years. Wow, bro. Wow. Wow, man. Wow. Now, this is scary for many West African presidents. Many West African presidents who know they haven't been doing shit for their people, who know they've been robbing their people, who know they've been doing the bidding of foreign governments. They know they're not worth shit. They know they're overdue for a coup d'etat. They know they're overdue for an overthrow. They know they deserve to be overthrown. And to see this, to see Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger overthrow their presidents and be allowed to stay in power. Wow. Scary times. If I was a West African president, I would start implementing some policies that would benefit my population so they can have my back. They can have my back in case the military turns on me. That's what I would do. If I was a West African leader, that's what I would do. Because if I was a soldier, if I was a general, if I was a captain in a Francophone West African army, and I'm seeing Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger standing toe to toe, standing face to face with the Western powers, and being able to come out victorious and remain in power, and the United States bending the knee, the United States taking a knee and sending an ambassador acknowledging the government. Scary times for West African presidents. Very scary times. If I was a West African president, I would start working in the interest of my people. That's what I would do. I would stop robbing my people. I would stop harming my people. I would stop selling out my people. That's what I would do. If I was a West African leader, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Very scary times. Very scary times. Indeed. Every president in West Africa right now is on high alert. They on high alert. Because if I was a general of a West African army, of a Francophone West African army in particular, because someone had put an interesting comment in my comment section that I had to agree with it, man. I had to agree with it. Take a look up on the screen. This brother said this: I've noticed something historically is that whenever there was a coup in a Francophone nation, they would try to distance themselves from France, while in the Anglophone nations, such as Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, etc., the coup leaders would not try to distance themselves from the British. So that's why I'm not really a fan of military takeovers outside of the context of Francophone nations, because the context of Francophone nations is unique. It's very unique, right? And as a black man from a Francophone nation, I stand in solidarity with my brothers against our common enemy. But in the context of Anglophone Africa, the Anglophone world, I'm not a big fan of military takeovers in the Anglophone world, because historically I noticed these guys don't really take an anti-colonial stance, right? These guys in the Anglophone world, they pretty much align themselves with the British, regardless if it's democratically elected or if it's been a military takeover. So I'm not advocating for military takeovers all throughout the world. No. But in the context of the Francophone world, I'm standing in solidarity with my brothers against our common enemy. Against our common enemy, I'm standing in solidarity because I understand our common enemy. He is a worthless, sociopathic, blood-sucking vampire snake piece of shit, and he does not deserve to be enjoying the prosperity that he currently enjoys. And if it was up to me, that country would be reduced to a third world S-hole. If it was up to me, that country, I'm not going to say the name, the country where they be speaking, oh, je suis français, oh, vous êtes français, oh, je suis Paris, you know, all that bullshit, all that nonsense. You know what country I'm talking about, the country that got the Eiffel Tower. But yeah, man, I'm standing in solidarity with my brothers. I'm standing with y'all, man. But like I said, it's one thing to establish power, but now you have to defend the power. Now you have to maintain the power. Now you in the presidential palace. Now it's time to get to work. Anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari the Saline back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App up on the screen, and I'm gone. Peace.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in that ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applaud it. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching, he blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage, I got business. This shit is an art and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so elite. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with brands cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.